The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. How I came by it? Well, Earthworks sent it to me. Thank you very much. Unboxing. I've done that. I'll just mention, once again, that I'm very impressed with I'm very impressed with the box. I know. I'll tell you why. Everything fits really nicely. It does the job. And to me, there's not a lot of wastage. If you don't want to keep the box, it's mostly cardboard. And I'm very happy with cardboard, particularly these days. I'm fascinated with the accuracy of cardboard boxes, so I think that's great environmentally and certainly does the job and is tough enough to use to carry it around for a while, I'm sure. Not anymore, it isn't. However, speaking of which, here it is with the clip attached, only loosely because I'm going to take it off in a minute, but just to let you know that it will fit in an Earthworks bag and it will fit in these sort of foamy pencil cases that I use. So if you're going to be using it around and about a lot and don't want to take the box, it will fit in a bag with this attached. I'm going to take this off and show you something else. Firstly, I'll show you it against a SM58. Give you an idea of the size. And secondly, if you are going to be carrying it around a lot, it might be worth noting that this is a K&M radio mic clip, so it might be worth noting that it fits reasonably securely in that. Obviously, if you knock it, it's going to come springing out, but it is quite a... So if you are carrying it around, you've got different mic stands in this, and you don't want to keep unscrewing, then it does fit in that as well. What the manufacturer says. Sounds like life. Whose life? Well, I know what they're saying. I'm not much of a marketing person myself, but yeah, it sounds okay. Accurate, I'm guessing, is what they're saying. They say it looks as good as it sounds. Looks good to me. We'll have a look in detail in a moment. Ultra-fast capsule, a rise time of 11.67 milliseconds. I'm guessing the high definition thing of it starting and stopping quickly and accurately. Frequency responses from 20 hertz to 30 kilohertz. You can't complain with that. It says it's cardioid and a small diaphragm and it can handle 139 dB SPL. I've had some questions about commenting about what it might sound like regarding the frequency plot, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything. I just had another look now. Type in Icon Pro XLR frequency graph. So a couple of people have mentioned it, so I don't know. But anyway, I quite like the idea that I haven't seen anything in ways of the diagrams. I think I've heard something. But it'll be interesting to see if what I've heard corresponds to the graph. You might find I've been talking baloney all these years. We'll see. They say it's for podcasting, streaming, interviewing, gaming, web conferencing, content creating. Fit, finish, feel, accessories. Well, no complaints with any of it. But I'll have a look closely now and see what I think. More on this later. This is the Triad Orbit mount. Mine didn't come with an insert, but I've got several of them because my stand happens to need that. This is the set nut, so you release that and then the ball can swivel. It's got cutouts, so any angle imaginable. And also it releases this, so it can swivel anywhere. And when you tighten it, it's very firm. No complaints at all, it's excellent. About halfway in, and very little play. Very good fit, the threads. As you may know, again about halfway out, and very good threads, very little play. That was nearly all the way out. Looking similar to other Earthworks microphones. This has an inner screen, which is removable. And also, I wasn't sure about this, but yes, and again, about halfway out, and very little play. Fine mesh there, and then the perforated end plate there. Well, very well made. Externally, anyway. Now this. I have in the past mentioned that some of the Earthworks stuff seems like it reminds me of my dad's dental instruments. And don't know, maybe you can see why things like this, there's nothing there that's unnecessary that's got those grips there, because obviously things come undone. And again, I turn this. Threads are halfway out. Very little play. Keep going, still very little play. And then you come out to the plunger. And it reminds me of that instrument grade, instrument quality build. Okay, now, before we get down to it, I feel I have to come clean. I was talking to my baby about this, and about the frequency response and this, that, and the other. She kind of looked at me, and then she said, well, do you like it? And I said, yeah, I like it. And she said, well, that's it then. That's your review. I thought, oh, seems a bit short. But anyway, so there we are. I like it. Bear that in mind. However, I'll still get down to business. I'm using the de facto because I've explained that before. But so I'm not going to use the mount because this is on there. I don't need to. Well, what do I notice immediately? I'm just going to switch on, hold it roughly where one might, though you might hold it all over the place. And now I'm on the Icon Pro. What do I notice immediately? I notice more warmth. I don't really want to compare the two. I notice what I'd say is an accentuation up there. If I bring it a bit closer, what do I notice? I notice it sounds more intimate. That's still there. It's sweet enough. So I haven't seen the graph, but I'm guessing there's a little bit of something up there, up there, up there, up there. Very satisfying, I find. Whilst I'm at it, I may as well. If I take some of the treble out, take some of the treble out, here we go. Take some of the treble out, take some of the treble out, take some of the treble out. I'm going to put the treble back to flat. I'm going to take the treble back to flat now. I've taken the treble back to flat. I'm going to boost it a little so you can hear there what it's doing. That's that part. So I'm back at flat. This is the mid-range. I don't know where it is. I'm sorry. So I'm going to take some of the mid-range out, take some of the mid-range out, take some of the mid-range out, take some of the mid-range out. Can you hear that? I'm going to put the mid-range back to flat. The mid-range is back to flat. And I'm going to take some of the mid-range up, take some of the mid-range up, take some of the mid-range up. So that gives you some idea of what you might be able to do just with basic treble mid. That mid's quite high, it seems to me. Anyway. So that's what I noticed immediately. I noticed that I find the thing quite fun. I came and switched the light on and just look at it on the stand every now and then. So, oh. And then I'd come and switch things on when I wasn't about to do any work. And just play with it, partly because I wanted to get used to the sound of it before I started reviewing, and I haven't got as many opportunities with other people at the moment, as you know. Hiss, hum and tone test. Well, hiss. So yeah, I feel there's a little push at the top there. The hum, I'm not very clear today, excuse me. Got to stop taking those things. The chocolate, it's even worse now. Just to give you an idea. Going on the ohm. Sorry about that. That's it's this Mackie desk. Now the mute pots are making noises. Mute switches. Back on here. Pops, S, breath, proximity, polar response. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. 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 Peter Piper picked a peck. I think the pops are very good, but I can hear the draft wind noise, wind type noise. Pops, 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 There's very good. Pops, 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 pops. And again from the side, I think I prefer the side. So I've done videos on this. You're best off managing it at source. And then if that makes you sad, you're probably, when most mics, you're going to need to put something on front. Very interesting thing, because the more you put in front, obviously the more it's going to affect this. So it must be, I'm fascinated by the engineering and the science behind this. So I'd say pops are fine compared to most other mics that I use. Pops, pops, and the who, 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 who. So once again, to the side or down there, so that the main blast goes over the top. And I don't think it affects the sound very much at all. Whilst I'm on that, well, I shouldn't get to it yet. No, coming up to do the polar response. Proximity, 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 e, 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 proximity, 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 e, e. Very, very smooth. And what I think I notice, the bass isn't accentuated as in some of the other singing instruments, but it's still there. So when I'm here, I feel, ah, 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 ah. I still get a sense of the underneath, along with all the clear revealing of the upper parts. Polar response. I've noticed something about this. So yeah, I've noticed that proximity reminds me of the SV33. That the SV33 has got more woof when I bring it really close. I've noticed that kind of similarity. I've noticed another similarity, I think. So I'm going to do the polar response now. I'm on the front, as you can see. I'm on the front, coming round to the side, coming round to the side, coming round to the side, coming round to the side. Just there, isn't it? Coming round to the side, coming round to the side, coming round to the back. Woo! Coming round to the back, coming round to the back, coming round. Yeah, I've noticed wind noise from the back. Well, forget. Coming round to the back. You can hear the room. Coming round to the back. Coming up to the side. Coming up to the side. Coming up to the side. Coming up to the side there. Coming up to the side. Coming up to the side. Coming up to the side. Now we're on the front. On the front. So it reminds me a bit of the 33 in that it seems to be a very wide, almost mushroom cardioid. And the tonal qualities remain very similar until you get to the point where, sorry about that, until you get to the point where it's about to, you're going to get the rejection. So I think I've noticed that. Oh yeah. Handling noise. Now it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's obviously not meant to be handheld. Well, but now that's very good. On this, one thing I should mention as well, it's quite weighty, but the weight matches this Rode boom arm perfectly. This de facto obviously is quite light. And if I do that, it does that. And when I used, shouldn't have done that, should I? There we go. And when I used the Rode Classic 2, when I used the Rode Classic 2 on the stand, it did the opposite, it drooped. But this is a perfect balance for the stand. The other thing, even with the 33, Earthworks SV33, I stopped having this clamped on, I've got a big architect's table here, and I stopped having it clamped on the architect's table. This one's okay, because if I nudged it and did hit it and so on, it made quite a low frequency thump, so I put it on the bookcase over there, so it's separated from the table, but then the arm would really wasn't very comfortable, wouldn't reach. So I was used to that setup, and then when I got this, I tried it on here, and it was fine on here. Go back on this one. back on this one, it was fine on the table with unless you really hit it. So that's good. Okay, if it's meant for podcasting, streaming, so on and so forth. What are the differences between singing? It takes high sound pressure levels, I've noticed. One thing I have noticed when listening back to, I've done a few videos using it, and listening back on my kitchen speakers, which is mono, and okay, but not really. And I'd uploaded some stuff to Instagram, so I was listening, forgive me, just on the speakers on the tablet, you know what that's like. But in both of them I had a subtle feeling that it seemed that my voice was more present. And don't forget, I'm used to the SV33. So I think it's maybe to do with, I think something's gone on to make it fit, even fitter for this particular purpose than something like the SV33, which I think was just like everything and no particular push anywhere. Well, it is not designed for singing, but I asked Mr. Manuel if he'd give it a spin, and he said, yeah, okay, but it's got to be handheld, because he likes to control it manually. Oh, somebody mentioned as well, what about ASMR? ASMR, I know. What about ASMR? What about ASMR? What about ASMR?
Maybe you're poor, maybe you have wealth, maybe in demand or maybe baby on the shelf. Whatever your situation, there's one thing you should do. Reject all automation and let me work on you. I'm Mr. Manual, automatic's not my style. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. They call me Mr. Manual. Oh, they call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. No, I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you, guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. Yes. El debutante capaz.